Pass is picked off, and who is it? Big B.J. Raji for the touchdown. Pump fake. Wallace picked off. Nick Collins. Nick Collins on the return inside the 10. Leaps for the touchdown.
All right, what's up, Packer fans? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton Bailey. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. If you'd like to email the show, you can send a message to PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. And this is obviously the Packers Total Access postgame show. Might feel a little bit like a funeral today, but we're going to do our best to get through it. And I'm joined alongside my good buddy Jacob from the Packernet Fantasy Podcast. Jacob, you doing all right over there, brother? You holding up?
I'm good, man. It was I'm not gonna lie, that was a deflator if I've ever been in part of one, and I'm doing my best to put on a happy face, and we're gonna keep on keeping on, and we're gonna talk about this game, even if it makes us want to cry a little bit inside and curl up in a ball and take a hot shower while we rock back and forth. But besides that, I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, man. I'll tell you this, I'm going on about 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
We rolled in. We went to the Kentucky Wildcat game. This is if you Packer fans think your weekend was rough, and I'm a Packer fan too. I don't say that as if I'm not a Packer fan.
I was gonna say
I got in the car, went up to see my beautiful little baby niece. Right, she's a brand new baby. Awesome time there visiting my sister, and then we go up to Lexington, Kentucky to watch the Wildcats play the South Carolina Gamecocks. Completely sold out game. I'm going with the intent. I'm going to watch Will Levis play. You know, he's projected right now. The consensus big board has him as the number 6 overall prospect in next year's draft. So I was kind of excited about that. Well, he broke a finger last week, so he didn't play. So we've got a redshirt freshman in the game. But I'm thinking, hey, look, you know what, man? We're a run-heavy team. They run LaFleur and Shanahan's style system. They've got an offensive coordinator that came from the San Francisco 49ers a couple years ago, I believe. Excuse me. But I'm thinking, yeah, we'll run the ball. We'll lean on that. You know, everything will be fine. The very first play from scrimmage, Jacob, they run a reverse play. South Carolina swats it out of the guy's hands. They score with 13 seconds into the game. Kentucky had the ball first, and South Carolina somehow goes up 7-0. So they never looked back. With that being said, we get back. Last night we're on our way back, and we're thinking we'll just drive it the whole way. We don't get as far as London, Kentucky. And I'm
Kentucky.
I'm like, I'm done, dude. Let's grab a hotel room. Let's wrap it for the night. You know, we're done. So I don't even remember laying down, Jacob. I wake up and I'm in this hotel that is one of the grimiest hotels I've ever seen. And I'm kind of bougie, man.
Several horror movies were shot there at this hotel.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I grew up like a little bit rough, so as I got older and took responsibility of my life and my finances, I'm like, man, there's some places I'm never going to stay again. Well, there I was last night. And I woke up this morning, dude. Like I said, I woke up and I'm in the buffet line at the continental breakfast. And I'm down there at this breakfast line, and I'm just confused. Like, where's the orange juice? Where's the orange juice? And here comes this guy. He walks by. He's a hotel guy. He's I'm talking about these cheap hotels, Jacob. They run the front desk. They cook the food. They wash the lawn. They do everything. Bro, he comes walking up, and I'm staggering into the breakfast room, right? And he said, what are you looking for? And he says it like this. What you look for? You know, because I'm in Kentucky, right? I'm back home. I said, look for the orange juice. He said, it's right in front of you. If I had a bigger machine, you wouldn't be able to fit it on the table. And I literally look at him like, don't make me brush your teeth, dude. Like, get away from me. I'm not in the mood right now. Like, oh, my God. Anyway, so that's how my day went. And here we are. We watched the Packers play. And unfortunately, this is a post-game show. We lose 27-22. I was kind of surprised because I cut it off at the end of the when the Giants got the possession there at the end of the game and loaded it back up. I'm like, oh, what why is it 27-22? And then I found out about the safety later. So I was kind of on the road. We're going to do our best to recap this and give you guys a podcast for you.
Interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
Just to make us a little bit happier, Justin Fields just ran for a would-be almost 60-yard scramble touchdown. Got called back because Justin Fields sucks and the Bears sucks, and there was a holding call. So now it's a 2nd and 8. So everybody just feel a little better about yourself. It's not completely over. We don't get to watch. It was an amazing run. It was called back for a penalty. So at least there's that. Go ahead, Clayton. Sorry.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks like watching this in real time here. Vikings are up 21-19. The Bears have the ball. 11 minutes left in the game. So obviously, right here, guys, we're Bear fans. We want the Bears to pull this out and have the Vikings drop to 3-2 just like us. Right? That's the goal. So anyway, we're going to get into the game. Before we do, I just want to say this: we do have a giveaway that's active right now, guys. We're going to be giving away an autographed Quay Walker jersey, and all you got to do is go to my Twitter page. It's @Packers_access. Click on my page, follow the account. You'll see a tweet that's pinned at the top of the page, same as we did for the last giveaway with Drew's Caesar Service Dog, where we gave away the tickets to the Monday Night Football game there in December that we're going to be attending. But like I said, this is an autographed Quay Walker jersey from Pristine Auctions. And just go to my Twitter page, find that pinned tweet, retweet it, and make sure you're following the account. That's going to enter you into the contest one time to win that. Now, just like with the last one, the last contest, Jacob, what we're doing is we have attached a kind of a GoFundMe, if you will, a foundation that you can support. That's one of the things we want to do on this show is make sure that we are giving back and doing things in a manner where we're just adding a little bit more value to other people. And the one we picked, I'm really excited about. You can actually find it pinned to Pack Daddy's Twitter page. But here's the tweet, what it says. It says, "It's been great supporting causes over the years with the podcast. I'm excited to be able to support my dad and his ministry this year. If you're looking to give, I'd love if you consider giving to Fertile Ground Ranch Discipleship Ministries." Okay, so what you're going to want to do, guys, if you want to enter yourself into that contest multiple times to win that autographed Quay Walker jersey and you want to give to a good cause, you just go to fertilegroundranch.org/give. And for every $5 that you donate to that organization, we are actually going to enter you into the contest one additional time. So it's a sweet jersey. It's the away white, which is personally my favorite Packer jersey. And it's a Beckett-style jersey, like I said, autographed by Quay Walker, authenticity, all that stuff along with it. So with that being said, Jacob, let's talk about this game, my man.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can get through it without getting angry at each other and making this absolutely miserable for the listeners. But first thing I want to say is also in the Lions game earlier, guys, we got a fight in the Buffalo game. That was cool.
Bears just won up 22-21, 9:26 left in the fourth.
There we go. See, guys, look, we're
Let's
about
go.
to be first place in the All right. So thoughts and prayers go out to Savion Smith. I believe I'm saying his name right, and his family. He left the Lions game, actually had a real strange injury. If you guys seen it, it wasn't a hard hit, just a gradual bump at the line, I believe, on a tight end. He's a DB, and he just kind of went limp, and to me, it didn't look like a concussion. It just looked like something wasn't right. And I was a little worried it might be a heart issue or something like that, but they did call the family down and go to the ambulance and all that, and it just didn't look good.
I didn't see that. Was it what you said? It wasn't a head-to-head type thing. It was more of just
No, it was just like a gradual graze. And when I look back at it, I think it was a neck injury, and they're confirming now that it was a neck injury, that he does have filling, I believe, in his extremities is what I've seen more recent. But check for yourself. I'm no doctor, and I haven't followed it too close. I just want to say that, guys, put things into perspective, man. That's a scary moment when your dad or your uncle, whoever it was, had to be called onto the field and taken into the ambulance with him because he wasn't responding. There's a lot of things that are a little more serious, than wins and losses in football, although I take them as hard as anyone, right? So,
man, that's crazy.
With that being said, though, man, this game, Jacob, dude, once again, it's being proven that defenses are allowing teams to run, knowing they won't stay with it, and that's what you've seen today.
God,
the Packers. The run game, in my opinion, wasn't as strong as it has been in the past. I think Aaron Jones averaged a little over 4 yards to carry. I believe A.J. Dillon averaged a little over 5. That's enough to get it done, don't get me wrong, and we should have stayed with the run. However, you could just tell the Giants were like, you know what, let's let them have what they got in the run, And they would stack the box from time to time, but just because you stack the box doesn't mean you're playing the run. They were bailing out. They were playing coverage is what I seen on the road watching the game. But that's where we got to start it, Jacob. Man, give me your thoughts, dude. Initial thoughts, the fact that we kind of got away from the running game there in the second half for sure.
Number one, can't see if you can see it here. Got away from the run. Literally the first thing I put on my freaking page, other than the Fertile Gun Ranch, which, by the way, just another to plug. It's really cool. I don't realize that it's been almost 5 years since I've listened to Ryan. So over those years, guys, our audience has given tens of thousands of dollars to certain causes. And I just think that's really awesome. It should be highlighted. Ryan's father is doing that whole awesome mission there. And I just think that's a really, really good cause. So that's just a quick highlight. And again, first note, got away from the run. Exactly what I said. I'm sitting there. We went to a local place called Big Guy's Barbecue, which is the competitor in Hudson for my barbecue place, but it's owned by another great person, another great business owner, a guy named Jethro. We were there with a couple, 100 Packer fans, got to know a couple of guys, real great groups of guys, passed out some business cards for our Packernet podcast network. We got some Stillwater boys that were there from across the river there, so shout out to them. It was real tough, man. It was a very, very tough loss because we're going to really try to keep this positive, but it seems like we're going into a pattern where the Packers come out, first half looks okay. I'm sorry, the first quarter looks okay. The second quarter is the Packers quarter. We score points. We look great. We go up maybe, 20-0, 20-7, whatever the case is. We put up about 3 to 4 touchdowns, and then we just coast. That's it. We hit cruise control. And I'm just so sick of it, and it makes me sick to my stomach because I always hear all gas, no brake, and all I've seen since that, that all gas, no brake stuff is basically the opposite of that. I see a very fast start, and then we coast, and it's just I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's one of those things where it starts to get you frustrated, and I've been trying to be as positive as I can for the first 4 weeks of the season, and I got to deal with my little brother, my father, other negative Packer fans that are texting me every second about, why would you call this play? To be honest, I didn't like the play calling in certain situations, to be honest, but if we would have executed, I don't think the play calls would be be an issue. So it's execution. It's I don't know, man. I honestly am at a loss for words. I wanted to be really prepared and try to figure out some really great analysis to tell you guys, but I just don't have it, to be honest, because it just seems like it's lacking in just really, really weird play-by-play stuff where it feels like certain instances where you would expect a veteran to make a play. I mean, that third down where Rogers just slightly leads Jones, where he could have made that circus catch. That's a gimme play. Like, why did Rogers overthrow him on that? Certain stuff like that. But to me, it's the defense, man. It's the defense that, on paper, we're so good. We're so proud of our defense. But in certain situations, we are just I'm going to call it out, man. I do not think that Stokes is doing well, and it stinks. I don't want to call him out personally, but I don't think Quay Walker's doing well anywhere. And I love both those guys, and I'm not trying to be a negative guy. I'm just saying they need to step it up. I specifically with Quay Walker and with Stokes. I specifically saw them both getting burned all day, and it seems like that's becoming a very pattern-ish type thing. So take it over, Clayton, before I start getting more negative, because I have some good things. I do.
Yeah. No, it's funny. We got home, rolled in. I'm like, I got to do a post-game show, and man, I think Mandy could see it in my eyes. It's like, man, that's a tough lie. It's a tough one to swallow right there, man. It's one thing if you just get boat raced and blown out, but when you kind of hand it over like they did in the second half, it's tough. It's really tough. She put me together a little charcuterie board. She's the master of these charcuterie boards. It made me feel like the little kid. You ever seen that movie, A Christmas Story?
Of course.
Yeah. It made me feel like the little brother. Remember when he was hiding in the cupboard and the mom handed him the milk and shut the cupboard back? That's what I felt like when she handed
me. Trying to make him wanking to get back into the
Daddy,
how does a pig eat?
Ralphie. So anyway, I kind of see it. This is really good. This is good sports talk here because I kind of see it a little bit different than you.
Let's go.
Not globally, not extreme or anything, but I kind of looked at it the opposite. When you talk about all gas, no brakes, all that stuff. for me, the second half should have been geared around the running game. It should be, you know what? We know what they're doing defensively, and I'm sure there were some adjustments made. And I really try to refrain from talking very, very detailed on X's and O's and game plan and stuff immediately following the game because I want to watch the tape. Jacob, I couldn't tell you how many times I was like, I can't believe this happened or they did that. And I go back and watch the tape, and I'm like, I'm a moron. Yeah. That's not what happened at all. Yeah. But with that being said, man, just getting away from the run in key moments, to me, it felt like in the second half, they were just too cocky. They were too arrogant. They wanted to get cute. They wanted to pile up some stats. You could tell, okay, look, I believe they were up, if I remember correctly, they were winning after
17, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Was it 17? Was it really?
I thought it was 17 at one point. Maybe it was only 10.
I was thinking it was 10 points coming out of the half, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right on a half. But at one point, I believe we were up. No, yeah.
Yeah, so coming out of the half, I'm thinking, you know what, man? Your opponent, and you guys hear me say this, and it sounds so boring, and I know people, it's amazing how when we barely squeak out a win, it's, I just wish we could really score more points and dominate a team. But then when you come out and you try to do that, in my opinion, that's what they did with the passing game. They tried to get too cute and get away from the run. Yep. Then all of a sudden you end up losing the game. I would much rather have an ugly win. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Well, here's what makes me mad is that Aaron Rodgers straight up, when asked in a press conference, you want to come out here and try to light it up and throw some highlights? He said, oh, yeah. And we saw that. The guy was throwing to no one. And I'm just – that made me very – and when I say all gas, no break, I don't mean start throwing bombs down the field. I mean what you mean. I mean just like score consistently.
Yeah,
I mean,
put them away. Whatever you got to do, put them away.
And that exactly is, I'm sitting there, like I said, with 100 Packer fans around me, and every single one of them is yelling, run the ball, give it to Aaron Jones. The guy is the best player on our team. He only ended up averaging 4.8 yards off of 13 carries for 63, but you can't argue to me that he was getting it going, and even Dylan was as well. And man, it just seemed like we were putting the ball in Aaron's hands and saying, go make some freak plays so that people put some highlights on so the NFL Europe really, really, really flies off today. And it's like, I don't like that strategy. My brother sent me a message, and I don't know if this is correct. So Sam, if you sent me this and you're wrong, then you're wrong on live cameras here. So he said that he saw a preview of, one of those late downs where Matt LaFleur apparently mouthed, do you want to pass? And Rodgers went back like, we might as well pass, kind of thing. Or like that, to me, that's not a game plan, man. Mm-hmm. You're free balling. And to me, like, if the head coach is, I like that he lets Rodgers, and maybe this is another discussion where Rodgers, quote unquote, is changing the play calls and blah, blah, blah. If LaFleur, I'm sorry, I'm going to call it out. I don't think LaFleur, to me, has enough chutzpah. I think he needs to take control a bit more. I feel like he is half and half. Him and Rodgers are both trying to be the lead dog, and we get this kind of half mold thing where they just say, well, why don't you try this? Okay, I'll try that. Like, it's no, man. Two of you say we're running this play. This is the play we're going to do. And there's no audibles out of it, or I don't know. It just seemed like I don't like the fact that the guys are mouthing, what if we do this? And the other guy goes, okay, maybe. Like, what is that? Is that NFL football, bro? Like, I don't know. Maybe it is, but maybe that's how you play if you're is LaFleur younger than Rodgers? Am I crazy?
Oh man. If he's not,
they're close, right? They're
very, very close. Yeah. I should know that answer, but I don't. 2
or 3. So to me, it's like, if I'm an NFL quarterback, historian, will for sure be a MVP, all-time leading Hall of Fame quarterback, and a guy that has eyebrows that aren't even gray yet, that are looking at me, telling me, hey, man, you should probably do this. I'm looking at him like, yeah, bro, okay. Like, you call the plays, and I'll run the plays. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, LaFleur is 4 years older than Aaron. Very close in age. And I actually seen that, and I tweeted exactly what your brother thought he saw. If it's incorrect, we both saw the same thing. And here's how I seen it, Jake. First of all,
right, Sam.
So here is the way I see it. You've got this play call sheet, and you've got this huge game, this huge playbook, and you're installing a game plan, right? And what you're essentially doing is, okay, here's everything we got at our disposal. How do we want to attack this defense? Here are our medium beaters. Here are our long beaters. Here are our short beaters. Here's our, outside zone run. If we want to run a little power, we got all this stuff is in this huge pot. And then when you game plan for a team, you start to put together the play call, right? And when you put together the play call, now you have the play call sheet. And on the play call sheet, it'll say, first and 10 plays. Here's a huge list of plays. Second and long plays. Here's a huge list of plays. Second and medium, second and short, third and long, third and medium, third and short, and so on and so forth. So they've got these plays to call from. And then in a 2-minute drill, which was similar to what they were running there, I'm sure that came into effect too. What essentially happened was Aaron walked to the sideline. His back was to the camera, so I couldn't see what Aaron mouthed. But Aaron said something to Matt LaFleur, and it wasn't demonstrative. It wasn't like they were being negative. They were talking about, okay, what are we going to do here? And Matt LaFleur looks at him. He's listening to Aaron. He said, "You want to pass here?" And it's like he was confirming, "Do you want to pass?" It wasn't like, "You want to pass here?" It was,
Right.
You want to pass here? And Aaron said something again. And then Matt LaFleur once again said, "You want to pass?" And Aaron said, "Yes, I guess." And then Matt LaFleur went to his play call sheet. And what did we see? 2 straight passing plays. Now, here's the thing. Now, what LaFleur came out and said, as a matter of fact, I've got it right here. Let's play LaFleur. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, Jacob, so avoid the echo.
Yes, sir. Yep.
I'm going to share the screen here, and we're going to play what LaFleur actually said so you guys can hear it yourself.
Better in certain areas, and then, it's just disappointing.
Near the goal line. Were those design passes that were batted by Aaron, or is that him seeing something at the line of scrimmage and trying to get you the
No, we had a run pass option on, and they loaded the box and went cover 0, and we figured that's what they're going to do, and unfortunately had 2 batted passes.
39 passing plays, 20 running plays. Coach, did you anticipate it being that favoured in front of the passing game?
It just depended upon what they were giving us. We, like I said, we had a lot of run pass cans, and they played a lot of single high and manned us up, and it's, do you want to run into a loaded box, or do you want to try to get it through the air? And unfortunately, that didn't work for us. So, like I said, give credit, Winks, a guy I got a lot of respect for, and he outcoached us in the second half, and they outplayed us.
Do you feel like you abandoned your identity a little bit there with all the running, or did you make the right calls?
Yeah, I got to look at it, but certainly, when the results don't go your way, it's only fair. You could argue we scored no points in the second half. So, obviously, the plan and the play calls that I gave weren't good enough.
All right, so here's the deal. First of all, going on with what he just said, that's exactly what happened. Now, think about this, Jacob. I want you to think back last week. There was a play that happened last week late in the game. And this isn't directed towards you. This is directed towards Packer fans as a whole, myself included from time to time. If he throws that pass and Alan Lazard makes that back shoulder throw or back shoulder catch, we're not talking about this. It's Aaron's done it again. Matt LaFleur, great play call. All those things come into effect. Now, I want you to remember last week what happened. Do you remember the Romeo Dobbs back shoulder throw late in the game?
Yeah.
And we were coming up off the couch, baby. Heck yeah, what a play call. All those things, right? As frustrating as it is in the moment, if you go back and watch it, and I did, when that happened, I went back and watched the very end of the game. And sure enough, the box is loaded, and he has a one-on-one, 2 plays in a row. And both times the ball gets batted down. Now, to me, I don't look at that and go, why are we passing the ball there? Initially, I was like, bro, you had literally 2 plays to gain 2 yards. Now, ESPN is saying it was only 1 yard, but, according to their box score, their scoring drive, information. But on the screen, it said 2 yards. You had 2 plays to go 2 yards. Initially, I'm like, run the freaking football, right? But when you look at the matchup, and again, if Alan Lazard makes that catch, if it doesn't get batted down, Alan Lazard makes that catch, it's a whole different ballgame, right? What I do personally, I'm looking at it going, kudos to Brian Daboll and his coaching staff and Wink Martindale, because you could tell, especially late in that game, that all week long, Jacob, they worked on get your hands up and bat the ball down. And I couldn't tell you how many times this year I would watch Aaron complete pass after pass after pass. And I remember telling myself, thank God these people are too stupid to realize all they got to do is put their hands in the throwing lane, right? So it gets a little bit.
Can I push back a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So was it me or was again our right tackle, Mr. Elton Jenkins, exposed this game? Because to me, guy did not look like he's on skates, man. Again, and those last two throwaways, I'm not going to blame that on Elton because it looked like they overloaded hard on that side and they went with
corner. They brought a corner off the edge too.
They brought almost basically an all-out blitz on that. But the way that he spread, and then on another, I don't remember if it was that play or if a different towards the end of the game where Jenkins should have took a hard split outside, and he stuttered and took the D tackle on an inside technique, and then had to cover on the D end going around him, and he ended up forcing Rogers to step up into the pocket, and then just got sacked. And it was a drive killer there, and to me, I really do want Jenkins to kick back inside. I want to see how that goes. I want to see him take over maybe Newman's job there. I want to see what Yash can do at right tackle. At this point, I'm done with this experiment with Newman, and I don't have a lot of confidence in him. And I don't know if it was something that had to do with the injury that Elton Jenkins, for whatever reason, is not at the level that he was. And this is not an Elton Jenkins hate session or anything like that. The guy was a guard. He was a center predominantly in college. The fact that he could do, a right tackle or a left tackle and did it well was, I think, just a gift from God. You know what I mean? Like that for that situation, for that year. And I don't think we should expect him to just be a right tackle. You just plug him in. Now he's a right tackle in the NFL league after coming off a very major injury. I think that we should maybe kick him back inside and just see what happens. Yash is a very good player. I think Ryan spot off some stats where SIS stats says that Yash is, man, he's right up there with one of the best tackles in the league, if not, top 10 or whatever it was about the SIS stats. So I would more than love to have Yash going right tackle, and Bakhtiari is back to his old self according to SIS as well. The guy he has no missed blocks, no missed blocks in the pass game, and then I thought I saw that Yash had no missed blocks in the run game as well. And then we got our guy John Running Jr. who has no missed blocks at all on a pass rush set. So it's like we have really, really good offense. We need to start calling plays to dictate, you know what I'm saying? To mimic how our offense is running, you know what I'm saying? So let's utilize the things we're good at, and I just don't see us doing that. And I'm very upset with the play calling in this game, if I have to be honest.
Yeah, and the thing about that is you can't blame LaFleur and you can't blame Rogers because you got to blame them both. It's an agreement. This is the coaching staff, and it's again. I'm gonna say it over and over and over. There was no complaining when Aaron Rodgers won back-to-back MVPs. They're doing the same exact thing. But here's the thing about the National Football League. It's a copycat league. And these players, these teams, these coaching staffs have watched all offseason. And I guarantee you one of the key things that was mentioned was when he starts this short passing game RPO system, if we load the box and force him to swing it out and throw these RPOs, get your hands in the throwing lanes. Guaranteed. So
can I say one other thing quick? Savage, again, I see this guy just missing tackles all the time.
Savage is hot garbage. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's a great guy. I could never play any sport at the level that he plays, obviously.
The fifth option to me is just
I'm a fat country.
I don't even understand it.
This dude, he's in when they signed him to the 5th-year option, my response was, and like I said, we got people that still run victory laps. I told you he's a good player. They're going to say, I didn't look at that as a good thing. I literally looked at it like that's probably them giving him a play it out year, and they don't like what they see. That's the way
show us we're wrong about you kind of year, and I don't think they're wrong because I didn't see nothing.
He missed the tackle. There was one huge play. It was the huge play there. When Saquon, I believe it was actually Saquon came out of the back door. Maybe he was flexed out wide. It was somewhat of a crosser. When I say crosser, he could have come out of the backfield and run, like an angle or a Texas or something like that. But he caught it. Savage comes up, should have made the tackle, completely missed the tackle. I understand Saquon Barkley, but that's also a first-round safety that just got a 5th-year option. as if, some people think that he's the second coming of Nick Collins, and it's just not the case.
I want to say also that he's the one that got the Rashawn Gary sack called back, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but it was something going on in the secondary that Rashawn Gary would have had one sack in every game going into week 5, and I don't believe he ended up having an actual sack after that. So it was, it was just a crushing, soul deadening game all around. I mean, but there was good stuff. I don't want to sit here and talk about there was nothing good. I mean, Jair, he had that great tackle for a loss right off the bat. We got really hyped. There was some good stuff going on. Dobbs looked great. Right initially, we thought, oh, this is going to be a Dobbs game, right? He's catching stuff, turning around, catching it over his back shoulder. He's doing everything. You had Tawny getting involved. You had Lazard doing a short touchdown. And then, it just kind of the insecurities and the stuff that we just knew was going to kill us ended up killing us. And it was, again, Savage, Stokes, Quay. Gary should have had the sack. DeGuara, I think, had the best game of his season this year. DeGuara had back-to-back game plays where he was like, that's the guy we drafted right there. That's what we want him for. Being that H-back, kind of tight end guy, slot, different type of person that can – I didn't realize one of the Stillwater guys that were saying was, he goes, but he's 6'0" nothing. And I'm like, that's exactly why we have him. He's that H-back kind of tight end, hybrid. That's exactly why we have him there. And he's doing that. Man, Cobb. Why don't we keep going to Cobb? If we're going to keep forcing stuff, Cobb was killing it, man. And I go to my second note, and I go, keep running Jones. That's where I'm at. I'm in the second quarter with my notes now. So,
and the thing that got me about the defense, I'll say this, is, these teams know how to beat this Vic Fangio defense in the passing game, and that's with crossers, period, case closed. You see it every single week. Any team that runs this Fangio-style defense, the crossers are where they're vulnerable. If a quarterback has enough time to sit in the pocket or create enough space to allow the second window of that crosser to open up, it's game on. And that's why you always see these safeties and typically the nickel corner trailing so far behind, is because this defense isn't set up like that. It isn't. It's that's how you beat it. So you've got to make that adjustment. And a lot of that blame, in my opinion, falls on Joe Barry, period. You've got to be able to adjust. And here's what's crazy. Last week, correct me if I'm wrong, but last week Rudy Ford played his you-know-what off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, he did.
And then all of a sudden, Adrian Amos is back in the lineup, and it's back to the duo of Savage and Amos. And what happens? Daniel Jones comes out and lights it up. It's like,
and did you see that Saquon Barkley run where Amos is basically running, just looking at him for 20 yards before he decides to cut it back inside? And I'm just like, dude.
He was trying to
He's trying to cut him off, but
he was trying to funnel him in. He knew that there was nobody else on the sideline side, right? So he was trying to funnel him back in. But I understand your frustration. I was like, you're a strong safety. You're supposed to attack the ball carrier. And it was just kind of like, oh, let me get back. Let me try to make – I don't know, man. Again, if you're going to make mistakes, make them big. But when this defense, Sam Holman said it best. I think he said it on Twitter. If I remember correctly, he tweeted it out. It's like they're not playing the same style of defense that Denver Broncos played under Fangio. Denver Broncos were very aggressive on attacking the ball, and these guys are just kind of
blitz. We don't blitz at all. Like –
and I'm okay with that. I'm personally okay with that, Jacob. What I'm talking about is
I want to send I want to send one more. That's what I want to do.
Once the ball is thrown, once the run is underway, attack the freaking ball. And these guys, there was a couple of times I've seen Quay Walker do that, and you could tell it wasn't that Quay didn't want to make the tackle. It wasn't that Quay didn't know he needed to come up. You could tell he was coached.
He was coached to be like, stay back.
Keep it in front of you. Yeah. So that's frustrating. So again, the crossers what made it up on my list.
Can I highlight one thing that I think that you will actually love as well? That awesome play, that Mercedes Lewis touchdown though, that had the Jets motion and then the fake to Dillon. So right away it's oh my God, I believe it was Christian Watson if I'm not mistaken. If it wasn't, it was someone doing that Jets motion. So right away the defense thinking, okay, we got to watch the motion guy. Then they do the fake handoff inside to Dillon, and then. Oh, it was so beautiful. Then Big Dog just kind of floats outside and literally just kind of backpedals back, and gets back and just open, wide open. And that was, to me, the most brilliant. That's the way that the play calling should be, because we utilize every single aspect of our offense. I don't understand why Christian Watson isn't on a Jets motion almost every single play, and why we don't have the double back, and why we have Jones going one way and Dillon going another. And then at the same time, we got either Lazard or Watson or Dobbs doing a crosser route. That's all we need, man. That's all we need. You go one guy going, taking him deep, taking the safety deep. You do another crosser. You do another one that's doing a slant. And then you got two backs or a tight end that's coming across the other side. I don't get it. Why are we just running up the gut or a draw, or we're just doing the most basic stuff? I don't understand this as a fan. It's just, it's hard to watch, but it's I'm sorry. I told you I wasn't going to get on one, but
dude, hey, it's one of those games, man, and it happens. My point is, and again, not that you did this, but I'm as frustrated and as disappointed as anyone. But I watched all week long on Twitter. It was as if there was no way we could lose this game. And you'll hear me on the pod, man.
the Giants are 3-1.
On paper, this team looks like we should handle them, right? Everything about it. Head coaching matchup, quarterback head-to-head, edge rushers, all those things that I think are important, looks good. But I always end it with, on any given Sunday, anything can happen. And especially if you do what I'm about to talk about right here. Fourth quarter, 10 minutes left. Now you're down 27-20, right? But you've got 10 minutes in the ball game, and you've ran the ball effectively. Not like they have in the past, but you've been effective with the run. They literally came out, and it was deep pass, medium middle pass, deep pass, 3 and out. And it was like, I remember when they came to the line, I know exactly where we were at. We were rolling through Bean Station, Tennessee, baby. And I'm looking on my phone, and I'm going, right, let's run the ball. Let's come out, let's run the ball. Pass. Aaron, please get away from the RPO for a second. Forget the pass aspect of the RPO, and let's lean on the run for a touch. Then across the middle, beautiful throw to Cobb, beautiful route by Cobb, but the defender just made a lights-out play, right? And you've got to give it to Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll, his coaching staff did an excellent job in this game. When you look at it, Aaron did not give the game away, right? Look, I'm gonna read Aaron's stats here real quick, right? 25 of 39, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, right? Like, guys, this what we talk about, the middle 8 and the turnover differential. Turnover differential was 0-0. There were no turnovers in this game from either offenses, to the best of my knowledge, right? So 0-0 turnover differential. And then the middle 8, the Giants won at 7-3. Period. There's your ball game, right? And when it comes to that play call, I was baffled. And it wasn't LaFleur going, and that's what kills me is Matt LaFleur don't know how to call a game. Matt LaFleur wasn't on the sideline with his play call sheet going, all right, Aaron, let's pass the ball 3 times here. That wasn't happening. But most people will go, he's the head coach. He needs to step up and say, look, no, here's what we're doing. Okay, you can do that. But that's not the agreement these two have had. And again, it's worked the last 2 years. This may be when it unravels. And if it is, now you've got to make the adjustment, right? You've got to do that. But the way I see it right now, I mean, that's what cost you the game. Brian Daboll, basically, he called the game to win. And to me, it felt like the Packers called the play to try to inflate stats. And when I say they called the game to do that, it felt more like Aaron just at times going, all right, I got a matchup here, I'm taking it, rather than what does the game call for. And as much as I like Michael Lombardi and love his podcast, he's going to go on this week, Jacob. Michael Lombardi's going to go on. He's going to go, Matt LaFleur didn't call the game to win it. And I'm going to be screaming at my headset going, you big idiot buffoon. He wasn't the one controlling whether it was a pass or a run at the line of scrimmage, right? That's Aaron. So you live with it, you die with it, right? That's just the way it works. Now, going on to that last one I was talking about, Jacob, the you want to pass comment, right? You come out there at the very end, and again, you had 2 plays to go 2 yards, and you passed it both times. That was not Matt LaFleur's play call. That was Aaron Rodgers. When he said, you want to pass, I guarantee you what he looked at on his play sheet, LaFleur looked on his play sheet and said, okay, which one of these are one-on-one beaters? Because I guarantee you with Aaron's back to the camera, what he said is, they're loading the box. They're loading the box. And Matt said, you want to pass, right? You want to pass? Okay, let me find the route where we've got one-on-one with probably Dobbs and Lazard in the X and the Z, and let's take a shot at those one-on-one matchups.
You want me to stir the pot right here?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. If Jordan Love is in the game right now, he doesn't have. All right, here we go. If Jordan Love is the starting quarterback,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there.
I
We
understand.
win this game because Aaron Rodgers doesn't get to decide. It's just Matt LaFleur calling the game. I am very convinced that if Matt LaFleur could control Aaron Rodgers the way that he would like the game to go, we'd win every single game. And that's not saying that Rodgers is bad, or I'm just saying that if you could just,
Right.
AI into Matt LaFleur's brain, and you could dictate that into Rodgers' throwing motions and everything that he does, I don't believe that you can't convince me that Aaron Rodgers is doing what Matt LaFleur wants him to do. You're not going to convince me of that.
Mhm.
So there is a little bit of glimmer of hope if the worst case scenario happens for a lot of Packer fans, if Rodgers is gone, blah, blah, blah. I just want to give y'all, just pump the brakes. It's not like suicide time. It's time to just maybe think that maybe there's a different type of play calling that could happen. And again, I'm not going to say that this is Rodgers' fault. I'm not saying this is LaFleur's fault. I'm just saying that this is the dynamic between the two of them, and it's clear that they're literally on camera going, do you want to do this or do you not want to do this? And the other one's kind of, they're wish-washy.
Right.
There's no definite thing going on there. They're playing off each other's egos. They're both trying to make each other happy.
Yeah.
I would bet. I don't want to. Yeah, I'd bet. All right, I'll go out there. Love wins this game if we got him, because we would just be very more like you run the ball. Would keep doing what you're doing is working. Run the ball. We're getting 5-6 yards a pop. Let's go. Let Love throw a couple over the middle. Whatever it is. I'm just saying. I know I'm going to get blasted on this. You guys can go ahead and tweet at me. I'm at Green Bay Beard. You can find me on there. Give me your thoughts, guys, because I really do. I am very, very, very. I really do think that. I think Rodgers and LaFleur are a great dynamic duo, but I think that they're counteracting each other right now. I think their egos are battling each other, and I want to see what would happen if one of the two just has the complete control of the game. Because
and you stop me if I'm wrong here, okay? But what Jacob is saying, he's not saying Jordan Love gives us a better chance to win. He's not saying that.
No.
What he's saying is, in that specific scenario,
yes,
get all the great times that Aaron has made these calls and made LaFleur look great, right? Yeah. And LaFleur's made him look great from time to time too, I'm sure. I'm one of those people that I believe on both sides. Bill Belichick, it wasn't Tom Brady was the secret and Bill Belichick wasn't. It wasn't Bill Belichick's the secret, Tom Brady wasn't. I think they go hand in hand. I think it's the two most important parts of the team. But what he's saying is the RPO aspect of the offense would not disappear. It wouldn't. But in this situation, you come out in the second half, LaFleur would have had a lot more freedom and been a lot more comfortable going, all right, Jordan, listen, here's the RPO call. Let's come out and run the rock here.
Right.
And he's probably going to go with the run. But with Aaron at the helm, it's Matt LaFleur going, here's the play call. It's a run-pass option. Aaron, do whatever you want, right? And, I would definitely put it more on Aaron's shoulders than LaFleur's. But at the same time, we can't get lost in this aspect of the game and pretend like the defense played good. They gave up 27 points. Now, I'm going to say this.
Our defense is not – I thought it was great, but it's just – I love Quay and I love Devondre Campbell, and it's just – I love Jair. You saw Jair make a couple boneheaded plays. You saw Stokes missing blocks. You saw Razul, who I thought was just a steady Eddie, and he was missing some boneheaded plays. I mean, Clayton, did we come into London with 1 day ahead, or were the guys out there going to the pubs and all that kind of stuff? Is there any indication that was the case, or was that just like a?
Honestly, Jacob, I try to stay away from that stuff, but I'll say this: I did hear them say that we'll get a day back when we go back home. So they went in and lost a day, right? Okay. Now, as far as the pubs and stuff, I don't know, but I do know this: that when people were saying this is a home game for the Packers, this is a home game for the Packers. this isn't a home game for anyone. There may be
No.
more Packer fans there, right? And I believe that was the case.
Oh, there were about 70% Packer fans. That was pretty cool, though. I will say,
But you gotta understand.
thank you so much for the NFL Europe crowd. You guys are awesome. That was great. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
Which makes
But
it
when
harder.
when you go across the pond and you're not in your own bed, you're not at your home facilities and all those things, it's not a home game. This was one of those games that you could look at and you could really step back and go, you know what? This could be a trap game.
Well, and you know what's more than that is that Rogers is a history buff. When I looked at all the off game, the footage of him, he loved it. He was loving it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was literally on a vacation. The guy was having a great time. You know, Rogers loves history. He loves traveling. He loves going out and meet new people. So the guy was literally on a vacation. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know about you, but I don't take work seriously when I'm on a vacation. Do you? I mean, have you ever? I mean, Clayton, you were up in, what the heck was it, New York, and you let this clown take over your show. I mean, that lets you know,
dude,
you know.
You know what? That's a great point. Not that you're a clown, but that's such a good comparison. Like, literally, it's funny how we're like, oh, well, they're professional. They should be able to take it serious. And here, you know, anytime any of us go on vacation or something, it's like, screw work, dude. My phone is not going to have.
You put your phone on silent, and you're like, let them figure it out. I'll get back there when I get back there.
Right, and people were going to bash us and say we're making excuses. This isn't an excuse. Listen, they came out, they underperformed. Once again, though, I'm going to add this caveat, right, that we came out and completely underperformed to a lesser opponent, right, and the play calling got away from us in the second half, and we still only lost by 5 points. That's what the scoreboard says. Okay. So they're going to be in it under Matt LaFleur. You're always going to have a chance to win, but we got to stop pretending like, you know, I'm sitting here watching Miami get beat, right? Who's Miami losing to? Have you seen it? I'm trying to think of who it was. It was up just a second ago. I'm on the Red Zone channel. Miami's losing right now. It looks like they're going to drop this game. And immediately people go, well, they don't have their starting quarterback. Okay, you can make every excuse in the book, but any given Sunday, anything can freaking happen. It's a fact. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Now I'll say this. Let's do this. Let's get to our dogs of the week, right? We're still going to do it. We haven't even talked about this. I've got 2 picks, so if you take my first, I'll go with my second, Jacob. But let's go ahead and key this up. Let's get to our dogs of the week. All right, Jacob, who you got, man? Talk to him.
I mean, it's got to be Cobb, right? It's got to be Cobb. Cobb came up, and I don't know about you, but when I saw him make that over-the-middle grab where if you look back, Rogers threaded that, and I thought at that point, I was so confident, dude. I was like, if you look back and do it in actual slow motion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands had to basically swipe that ball just to make it possible. Cobb picks it out of the air. He turns up, and it looked just like that Bears last-minute Bears overtime win, or was it? No, it wasn't an overtime win. Where Cobb just out of the air, just keeps running and running and running. I thought that was what's going to happen. So, and one more thing before we get to, I tried to be so positive. Amari Rogers, I'm sorry, get rid of the guy. Cut him. Get him off the team. I don't want him anymore. The guy, if you look at that punt return, he didn't even get hit. He was trying to move the ball as he just coughed it up, man. And I'm sorry. They looked like Watson returned the first kickoff, if I'm not mistaken, which makes it look like they're trying to phase Rogers out. Watson returned the first kickoff, and everybody was like, what's that going on? I love Amari Rogers. I wanted to hear a Rogers to Rogers. One of the listeners sent that to me in a message. He goes, I just wanted that so much to hear Rogers to Rogers. And I said, I know, bro. I do too. It just does not seem like it's going to happen. The guy's small. He's short. He can't hold the ball, and he can't run. So I don't know what you're going to do with Amari Rogers here. But, again, my dog of the week, Randall Cobb. The guy's come back to life. You know, and I really do think that he is a great player. He got targeted 13 times, got 7 balls, 99 yards. I really wanted to get that hundo. And if you look at the overall stats going into after this week, he's in the top 50, I believe, for wide receiver yards. So he's not a an old dog here. I would bet that he will end up with over 1,000 yards receiving, maybe 10 touchdowns if I had to be bold here. But because it seems like Rogers really loves him. He just for whatever reason they couldn't connect at the end of the game, which would have been great because I'm just.
Yeah, and the thing is, you gotta kind of build up that credit. The whole game, the whole second half, I should say, it felt like the Packers were playing from behind because they just kept doing. It was like they couldn't make the plays in the key moments every single drive, and that's really what it came down to. As far as Cobb, man, Randall Cobb having one of his best years ever.
Yeah.
He's had somewhat minimal snaps too. Today he got quite a bit of snaps. And Rogers mentioned that last week. He said, Cobb's having a great year. We just got to get him on the field more. And, it kind of is what it is. It is, you have got to – the players that are responding, those are the ones who need to be on the field. And you've got to do a better job of scheming up a game plan, man. I mean, you just do. That's to me, it felt like they got lazy. It did. So, all right, my dog of the week. And excuse me, my voice is starting to go, man, going on minimal sleep here. Hands down, my dog of the week is Preston Smith. Preston Smith showed up big time today, and he's one of the few pieces on defense that did. I mean, he had 4 tackles, but he had a sack. He had a tackle for a loss. He had 3 quarterback hits today. I'm expecting him to have a very, very nice PFF grade.
PFF score, yeah.
Yeah, I think Randall Cobb will have a nice PFF grade. I'm really, really scared to see Elton Jenkins because every time I seen him, it was just ugly.
I was just going to say, dude, I was trying to find a way. We need to kick Elton Jenkins back into guard. I'm sorry. It just needs to happen, man. And we have to test, like I said earlier, just throw Yash out there and just see what happens. It can't be worse than what it is now. And if it is, then we have one game. And
yeah, to me, I think the damage that would be done, I respectfully disagree. The damage that will be done in shuffling the line around is going to be like, I could see it being catastrophic. Now, is Elton Jenkins a great right tackle? Absolutely not. And this goes to the point about Yash for me. And I understand where you're coming from because who else is going to do it if we move Elton? It's got to be Yash. It's got to either be Yash or Royce, and we've seen what Royce can do, right? So I kind of feel like we're better off leaving Elton there and see if he gets comfortable because I don't think Yash can just plug and play in the right tackle the way that Elton has, albeit, at a bad level. Now, I keep telling myself too, Jacob, these guys are coming off these ACLs, man. This is every single time somebody recovers from an ACL, it takes a full year to get back to where you were. So maybe we're not getting a real good look on that either.
Well, and you look at Bakhtiari, and didn't Ryan say that, he has 0 missed run blocks? He's 0 missed pass blocks off of I think it was 101 snaps or whatever, but it's nothing to shake a stick at. But you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
And I believe Yash also was the same thing. He did not have a pass rush attempt, or I'm sorry, a given up pass rush. But like you said, if you can plug, I like you said, we disagree. I want to see him go to right tackle. I want to see Royce get out of that lineup, even though I love the mullet, I love the man. I want to see Jenkins right there in right guard, and I want to see what happens. And then I'm more than willing to be wrong on that situation. If Jenkins just can't, or I'm sorry, if Yash cannot handle the right tackle, people think, like you said, a tackle's a tackle. Well, it's not. It's a whole different footwork situation. I can do way better things with my right hand than I can do with my left hand. Imagine that as your left and right plant foot going against like Myles Garrett's of league or whatever it is. I mean, it's a whole different, completely different situation. So
and
that
and
being said,
I can see your point too. What I was going to say is, until you try, you don't know.
No.
Until you try Yash at right tackle, you don't know. So he could be. It wouldn't be the first time it's happened, right? That someone went from left to right and made it work. It's just so rare that it does. But yeah, there's, like I said, man, this I'm not coming away from this game going, oh man, the season's trashed. I'm coming away from this game going, you know what, dude? We played a bad second half, a horrible second half, and we still only lost by 5 points. That's not an excuse. That's not to say that's okay, but this team is still capable of making a deep run. And as it sits right now, if I had to pick, I would say we're now back down to 12 games as far as wins, 12 wins. I could see them still winning 12.
Yeah, I'd even say that I would say that if we can become a second half team, that there's no stopping us. I mean, literally, like we've shown that we can come out of the gate and we can compete with anyone, basically. It's just the fact that we cannot put games away. I mean, that is just a simple fact. We are the best starters and the worst finishers that I've seen. And that seems to be, I don't know if the stats will, Geno Smith just got smoked. I don't know if that will be a forever kind of thing, but it just seems like a very, I don't know. It just seems like the Packers' MO for years and years is that we'll start hot, we'll go strong, we'll score in the second quarter, and then we coast. We literally just put the coast on, and we do not seem to have any effort until the last drive, and all of a sudden, we come alive. Rogers can hit everybody. We're doing slants. We're managing the clock right. We're hurry up offense, and it's like, why aren't we doing this every single drive? We could score 70 points if we just do this every single time. I don't understand why LaFleur, and I really do. I'm getting sick of LaFleur being asked questions, and he goes, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, as if he's hearing it for the first time. I've said this before. It's like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, we should probably try that. Like, old, nice guy Matt. Like, just, Matt, come on, man. Put some hair on your chest. Let's start being a little more boisterous, please.
We're at the 20. We're at the 56-minute mark. So
all right, let's
getting
get
ready
out of
to
here.
wrap this thing up. But I want to say that's the line of the day for me, though, because immediately I'm thinking Jacob wants him to go in there and flip the podium. He wants him to be shouting.
I want him to start going like Stone Cold Steve Austin and just start Stone Cold stunning people.
The glass break, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jumping off the top ropes.
or a little Mike Singletary. I want winners. I want
That's
people
right.
who want to win.
Right.
Yeah. Hey,
exactly.
Guys, listen. It was a sucky game, right? I'm not going to say I'm surprised, right? You could see that scenario playing out, but if I had to bet the farm, I would have took the Packers, and I'd be sitting out on the curb without my pigs and my donkeys and all that good stuff. So, all right. So I want to say this as we wrap up here. Next week, obviously, 1:00 kickoff against the Jets at Lambeau Field. Get back home, get your feet back under you. But the Jets won today, and if you think this is the New York Jets from the last couple of years, you've lost your mind. They're starting to turn the corner a bit, and they're starting to play better. The Packers are going to have to come out and play an A game to get that win at Lambeau. Now, this first half of this Giants game really felt to me like, okay, this might be the blowout win that we need to really build some momentum. And then you come out in the second half and lay an egg. You just got to get back to the basics, man. You got to stick with running the ball. It's like they figured that out the last few games. Hey, you know what? We've got to keep running the ball. And it's been successful. And then today they just tried to get too cute. We've all tried to get too cute at something at some point or another, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. So I'll do this as we sign off. Just want to say, listen, everybody on Twitter, calm down. Don't argue with other Packer fans.
Yeah,
we were all disgusted by this game, right? And I about got drug into a couple of them. I went, nope, not today. You ain't getting me today. And I just, hey, have a nice day. Move it along, right? But it's a sucky win. Hopefully we didn't depress you too much. But I do want to say this about this podcast. We don't want to just come in here and talk about the positives. If something goes wrong, I told you from day one, we'll talk about it. Yeah, absolutely. Now, am I going to try to find the positive? You bet I am. Because I don't want to walk around miserable either, right? So it is what it is. But, Jacob, thank you so much, man. I know this is a tough one to do, probably the hardest we'll have to do of the entire season, but we pulled it off. Appreciate your time, man. And, again, guys, like I said, go check that out, my pinned tweet. Make sure you get yourself entered in that contest. Doesn't cost a dime. All you got to do is follow the account, retweet it, and that'll get you in a chance to win that Quay Walker autographed jersey. And also, if you want to donate to Ryan's father's ministry. You can find
that's a great cause. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited about doing some stuff to help there as well. So that's what it all comes down to, guys. At the end of the day, this is just a game we all love. We get emotional about it. Sometimes it's funny takes. Sometimes it's takes that make you want to, uninstall the Twitter app on your phone. But it is what it is. But appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this. If you download this on Monday morning, you're out there on the grind. Appreciate you taking the time. Hope y'all have an awesome, awesome week. Take care of each other. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Go Pack, go.
Inches to go. The Vader. 17-14.
picked off, and who is it? Big B.J. Raji for the touchdown. Pump fake. Wallace picked off. Nick Collins. Nick Collins on the return inside the 10. Leaps for the touchdown.